Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today I've got with me Mike Taylor from KeyBar. First guest in the new studio. If you can't see it, it'll sound the same to you. But if you're watching it, you can tell there's a big difference from before. So
it's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. We're pumped for it. In this episode, we talk about the start of KeyBar, how we got started, what he was doing before, how it led into what he's doing now, and all the kind of jumps and hurdles and everything in between. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We be live. What up, Mike?
What's going on?
How's it going, dude?
Dude, life.
It's good to see you.
Just keeps going.
Well, it's been a few weeks. You were here not too long ago. We were talking about some stuff.
Yep.
Are you in like chaos mode with the holidays right now?
Oh, yeah. Black Friday, Cyber Monday was amazing. But we're settling down now. Got all the orders shipped out.
Right.
And now it's back to making, man. Just
Good.
Make.
So for those of you who don't know who Mike is, this is Mike Taylor. He owns a company called KeyBar, which is like the most innovative key solution in the last like decade or more. How long? Anyways, really cool product. And I'm going to let Mike tell you guys a little bit about it. So why don't you take a few minutes, tell them a little bit about yourself, tell them about KeyBar. I want to go through the whole backstory of like how this all started and all that kind of stuff.
Man, KeyBar. You were Fortified Concepts.
Because we started the reason this is so interesting to me is because you and I started right around the same time.
We met at some event, something. Nineline had just started, and we all had just started at the same time. And we were all at the same little events. And I mean, we're talking 50 people showing up in a parking lot somewhere. And I remember meeting you. And
I feel like we met before that, though. We had certainly known of each other.
Dude, I don't know.
Anyways.
It's so funny because I worked in Hilton Head at the Disney Resort. So backstory on me.
Yep.
Grew up in Savannah, born and raised. I'm 37 years old. So I've been here for a while.
That's almost 40.
That's right. It's crazy, dude. I thought about that the other day. It was scary as hell. So, but no, man, grew up in Savannah my whole life. Right out of high school, started working. I knew I wasn't going to college, and that just wasn't for you. Yeah, I knew immediately. So everything from plumbing to pulling wires. I did plumbing, electrical, landscaping, you name it, I did it. And
or at Disney or
no, this was in general, like right out of high school, right? So even at 16, I was working, right? So working in, I had a Camaro, and I was 89 IROC Z Camaro. So what you're working to buy tires for that thing. Did transmissions, right? I think I went through 4 transmissions. It was crazy. So just working, man. Always knew how to fix stuff. Race motocross growing up. So always knew how to take something apart and figure out.
Tinkerer.
It's figuring out how it's broke by taking it apart, right? And reverse engineering stuff. And how can I make this super glue and duct tape, get this back to the track, right? And so, right about 18, I walked into a Marriott and got a job as a chief engineer. Now, I didn't know what that was. Didn't have any idea. Apparently, the lady quit the next day, and she was hired this 18-year-old kid to be the chief engineer, thinking she was going to screw this company, and they were going to be left with this kid that they can't fire now because they hired him. And man, I was there 2 years, and I got transferred to a hotel downtown from that. And I did that for 14 years. I did work for Disney. So I worked for Disney and Hilton Head, and that was awesome. I was probably 20 at the time and working for Disney.
Which is like my old stomping grounds.
I mean,
I grew up in that area, like in Palmetto Dunes, across the street from Shelter Cove is where I grew up. So I spent my entire childhood in Shelter Cove area, riding my bikes, rollerblading, skateboarding, getting chased around by the cops and security.
The security.
Palmetto Dunes security chasing me around. Like, I knew, right? I mean,
the fireworks every Wednesday, and it's Tuesday. It was a Tuesday, and then there's a party like crazy, and so it was really fun. I was young, and I went to Disney I think 33 times that year because you get
Disney World in Orlando.
Yeah, Disney World in Orlando. So I had everybody in the car, and we just go,
Right.
It was awesome. So I did that. Came back to Savannah. Just chief engineer, fixing everything that's broken, hotels basically, knowing everything from pools to air conditioners. I mean, you do everything.
Right. Yeah, this light switch doesn't work. Or this doorknob
and that could be anything. I mean, it could be the golf cart outside. It could be the fireplace. It doesn't matter. It's everything in a building. And when you get into these big hotels, it's not just a standard air conditioner. I mean, you're talking 50, 100-ton chillers and 10 of them lined up, you know what I mean? And a lot of it, what was awesome was the newer hotels. I actually, at the end of my career, I was opening new hotels. And so that was awesome because you got the new technology. I mean,
right.
Coming from these old hotels where it's like trying
to keep things together.
Oh God. And pulling the window units out, you know, and just replacing them. And that's what most hotels do. And they just pull it out and replace it when it's bad or doesn't work. Right. And to get into a, $20 million chiller system where I'm on my phone, like you complain about your air conditioner, I'm like adjusting it from my office. I mean, it was pretty awesome. Pretty cool. But anyway, long story short, this all started, KeyBar started because of my interest in knives. 2010, maybe, I think. I saw a website called Knife Thursday. And I saw it. I just started on Facebook. This was early days of...
very early Facebook.
So saw Knife Thursday, and it was a blog. And you went to this website, and you took a picture of your knife, kind of hand dump. It was where hand dumps really started. You would take a picture of your knife, post it to this website. If you were selected, if your picture was good enough, they would then put it up on Thursday and everybody get to see it, right? So
they would put it on the Facebook page?
They would put it on their blog.
Oh, okay.
So every Thursday they would update it, and you'd have all these guys really cool, nice knives with their watches, and you got to see all the stuff that you never really saw before.
So these are like, for those of you who aren't familiar, this is like a bunch of stuff in your hand, like a top-down photo, directly down at your hand. You might have your knife, maybe your wallet if you got a cool wallet.
Knife, wallet, keys, what you carry every day.
Your watch.
A pin, stuff that you are proud to carry and you carry that are keepsakes and whatever. If you carry a coin, some people put the coins out and just cool stuff and that you want to show off, right? And a lot of it, and before this, you didn't see this stuff. People were making really cool stuff in their garages and you never saw it. Like, if you weren't on this blog, Knife Thursday, you still never saw it, right? And we're talking $1,000 writing pens. I mean, crazy. Ridiculous stuff. Yep. And it's like, wow, that's
Titanium.
Awesome. Nobody ever knew that even existed. So the whole thing to get you to do this, they gave away like $1,000 knife every month. So they would pick enough people to fill up their blog and then have the customers vote, or the people looking at it would vote, hit like or whatever, and whoever had the most likes got the monthly prize. And that's how they got people to upload their photos and stuff to get the content. They gave away their knife.
Content. Yep.
Right. And they got these, now knowing that, sponsors from whoever, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of it was really nice knives. And so I remember seeing this and I was like, dang, that's cool. And I had a buck 110 pocket knife. And if you know what it is, it's a old school. Yeah.
That got like the wood.
Yep. The wood with the brass things. And so it was my dad's, has his initials from Army on it. Right. And I scuba dive, and God, I ain't done that in a while, but kids. Right. So, I scuba dive. So I was cleaning a pool. Man, I do all kind of stuff. So even back then,
you guys will learn here in a little bit.
Even back then, I was like side hustling, cleaning pools.
Is that yours?
And sorry about that.
You're good.
So I was cleaning pools on the side, and I had to patch a vinyl. So if you go on YouTube and you look at KeyBar, one of the highest, I saw over 2 million views, is how to repair a vinyl pool, and it's me showing you how to patch a pool, right?
Really?
And this was 2007 or something. I uploaded that video. I mean, crazy. So anyway, long story short, I'm in this pool patching the hole. And I remember it was cut, gut, carve on Knife Thursday. They wanted you to cut up a pumpkin, carve it up, and show the knife you used. And they were going to give away like $6,000 worth of knives. And it was a bunch of YouTube channels collaborating. It was actually really cool. It was 30 YouTube channels, each one hosting their own little contest, and each one gave away a knife out of their personal collection. And it was like $6,000 worth of knives total and 30 knives. And I got into this pool and I got this pumpkin in my car. And I'm like, well, dang, what if I just carved the pumpkin underwater? Now, GoPros weren't around. So this was some kind of like, I don't even know exactly how I got, I remember like tape and silicone. I remember putting this camera under the water and thinking it might not work when I get it back out. And so I carved this pumpkin under, which stuff's going everywhere, And I get back and it's so horrible. I can't even find the footage anymore. I tried to find it the other day. And I won every one of the contests pretty much. And I won like $6,000 worth of knives and a trip to Blade Show. Didn't know what Blade Show was. And I didn't know what none of these knives were. And I mean, there was like 7 Microtechs and Benchmades and like all this stuff. And so I ended up getting it all in. And now all these YouTube channels kind of knew who I was because I won all their contests. And these are all the big knife YouTube channels at the time. And so I won all that, went to Blade Show and had the meeting with everybody. And
which, by the way, Blade Show is crazy. So
Blade Show is like
an industry. It's like
SEMA for knives or
SHOT Show for knives.
Or SHOT Show, whatever your industry is.
Well, it's a buying and selling show.
Yes.
So like it's not
consumer show.
Yeah, it's a consumer show. So you can actually go and buy a knife and talk to the knife makers.
What's really cool about Blade Show is I go to all the shows, right? So Blade Show is different because it's in Atlanta and there's nothing else there. And so when you're there, when you leave at night, there's nowhere to go. You don't go to the casino. You don't go. Everybody goes to the hotel lobby and it's called the Pit. And it's you'll have the owner of Microtech, the owner of Benchmade, Spyderco, like all these people, all the men.
Anyone that matters in the industry.
And they're all just hanging out, drinking, having a good time. Knives being flipped and passed around. People set up tables and sell knives that couldn't get a table in the big show or whatever it is. It's just free for all. And but it's really cool, and you get to meet and a lot of collaboration. And most of the deals happen there.
Crazy stuff happens outside of shows like that.
Yeah, knives never make it to the show.
Fingers that get cut.
first Blade Show. So that Blade Show, I walked up and I picked up a Spyderco, and I had seen pictures of it. I'm like, this thing's cool. I didn't know it was like modified because these dudes are crazy.
They come out of like backwoods Tennessee.
They took this $500 knife, and I'm like thinking I'm gonna just open it and it's gonna be cool. And they had done put automatic lock in it, and it was spring assisted. They had customized it, and I hit that thing and it shot open and sliced my finger open. It's like a $4,000 knife, and I sat it back down on the table. I knew my finger was cut bad, when it first. You're not. So I set the knife back down. It started leaking, and I said, and there's blood on his table. And I looked up at him. I said, thanks, man. And I grabbed my finger, and I went and got the Band-Aid from the guy, and I'm like, so how many people have you had to, bandage up? And he's like, dude, you're the first. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, no way, dude. And so that was my first cut at Blade Show, yeah. But Blade Show, yeah. So one of the things they gave me was some of this micarta material. Now it's like, a piece of material that's like paper laminated together. And it's just like carbon fiber with paper instead of carbon. And so he gave me that, and I took it home, and I'm like, man, I want to make a knife, right? But then I'm like, I can't make a knife. I don't have all this crazy equipment, and these guys I don't know how to make a knife. But I had all these dang keys sitting there. My keys were sitting there, and this material was sitting there. And I was like, oh, what if I make a key holder that looks like a knife, and it can kind of operate like a knife, and can maybe hold.
Well, this was solving a little bit of a problem for you too.
Yeah, because my keys were actually sitting there
as a hotel maintenance guy. Okay,
so to start, actually,
I know there's more to the story.
Okay, that is how I actually started making them. The idea actually came from, so I had a bunch of employees. Every time I'd go into my shop, they'd be working, like, and there ain't nothing to do, but everybody's working. And I went to the restroom one day, dropped my pants 3 stalls down. Hey, Mike, when we going to lunch? And he knew it was me because my keys. I mean, I had that ball of keys.
Yeah.
And it was jing, 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 drop, ching, they hit the floor. Everybody knew I was coming. You know what I mean?
I could hear you walking down the hallway.
And when I would get a call on the radio, whatever, and I'm running down the hall, I'm holding my keys. Yeah, I was always holding my dang keys going upstairs. You're holding your keys because they're on the carabiner, on your belt loop. And plus you're carrying a Leatherman and all these tools and stuff. So, yeah, that night I went home and I was going to make a knife with that material, and the keys were sitting. I'm like, dang, what if I make a key holder out of that? And so I made one, carried it for like 6 months. And I remember couldn't find pocket clips because I wanted to put a pocket clip on it. I made the first one out of a bandsaw blade. Like,
oh, wow.
Legit grinded it out and out of a bandsaw blade. And it worked. It still actually works really well. Couldn't find pocket clips. Now, I didn't know you could go buy pocket clips. I didn't know, very naive, didn't know nothing.
Go ahead. And It's very similar to my story.
Yeah, I went to Home Depot. So at this time, I'm like, okay, this mic card is cool, but this paper stuff is gonna not. It was ugly colors, and I'm like, I'm gonna go make these out of metal. So I went to Depot and I bought a strip of metal and cut it out with a bandsaw and drilled some holes in it, and got that bandsaw blade I bought from Home Depot, made it into a clip, and carried that for a while. And everybody wanted one at work. Hey man, make me one. So made them. God, probably the first 50 by hand like that, and I realized I was at the flea market one day and I was like, dang, they got these knives. They're like $1, and they got a pocket clip on them. Right. So I bought every dang knife they had at the flea market to get the pocket clips off of them. So the first probably 200 have pocket clips from the flea market.
So awesome.
and
that's from what's that flea market in Savannah?
Keller's Flea Market. It's got a big cow out front.
Dude, Keller's is so like...
Oh, it's country. they make the sugar cane right there for you. So anyway, then I'm like, okay, I can't do this because I'm doing this at night after work. And I went to a local machine shop and I was like, hey man, can you make these for me? So they water jet them out. Well, that
aluminum at that point.
Yeah, aluminum. Now, if you know anything about water jet, it's a square piece of metal. You still got to do a lot of work to make that like apart.
It just makes a rough shape.
Yeah, so I'm still rounding edges. I remember many nights, just duct taping my fingers, like literally putting duct tape around my fingers so they wouldn't burn on the grinders. You know what I mean? And like,
they make gloves for that.
Dude, it was. I didn't know.
Travis is laughing because
I didn't know. And then, I was always told don't wear gloves around grinders.
Really?
Right? Oh, yeah, because it'll suck your fingers into them. So you don't wear gloves on grinders, and use duct tape, right? And so, I mean, and it's funny. I look down, I still got burnt fingertips because we still grind, and
right.
So, but yeah, man, so I was grinding these things every night, and making them. And it got to a point to where I was like, I'm making more money doing this than I am at my day job. And I'm spending half the time,
Yeah, and you're up all night and
and I love it. I'm like, I wanted to do it. It was never thought I was going to do this. This was just for fun. I mean, it was literally me.
It's so many.
Jim Bob wants one. I'm going to make him one.
Yeah, it's so funny how many businesses start that way. My business started that way. I just made a post about it the other day as I got a picture from our shipping guy in our North Carolina location of like the amount of stuff that was getting shipped out. I was just like, it's so crazy to me how far it's come from like this thought and idea of like, you know what, dad should have a really cool diaper bag option too. Cause like moms have everything in the world, but dad has nothing to choose from. I want a cool diaper bag and my friends want a cool diaper bag, and we don't want to be like sucked into like having to carry our wife's diaper bag because that's the only option. So it was just like an idea that like solved my problem that then started to realize that like other people wanted it too. Yeah. And it was exciting. Like there's nothing like the excitement of the early days of getting those first sales and somebody wanting the product you're making, and it just fuels the fire. And for guys like us that like always have an idea and then you become addicted to like making it because you and I are like, we're like makers, you know what I mean? We're creative people. We need to do things with our hands. But I was the same way. I was super naive to like, oh, I can have someone else manufacture this and scale it.
Yeah.
And that's where you and I would struggle in that regard because we're like, well, I'll just make it. I'll just do it myself. Yep. I'll make it, But that holds you back from able to scale and grow a business. And it's really frustrating at times, but you have to have somebody to come in to like kind of open your eyes to that of like, hey dude, you can do a lot more if you even just outsourcing parts of it. Like you finally were like, oh, I need to get somebody to water jet this or do that or do that. Because that takes a huge step out of the process for you.
Well, in the beginning, you have no idea. You're just thinking, I'm going to make this. This is cool. And then it becomes, okay, we have to actually do something with this because we can't. Either we're going to stop making them or we got to make them efficiently
figure it out,
right? And so, we went through the same. So we kind of went, when I started, I was making them in my garage and I went to a local machine shop and had them water jet. And then just like you said, I realized that's not the way to do it. They need to be CNC machined to where they come off pretty much finished, right? Yeah. And so then we went to the CNC shop and they started CNCing them. And man, it just keeps going, right?
It keeps compounding. Yeah.
It keeps going.
You start to realize you have to build this huge infrastructure to support making your product, to be able to sell it, to be able to sell more, to be able to support the infrastructure and the people you just hired to do and it's just like this constant cycle of holy shit.
You could break that down. Like, so yeah, when I started, it was me in my garage and I hired my cousin. He lived next door. It was perfect. So he would walk next door and we'd make KeyBars all day. My wife quit about 6 months into it, her job, and came in and to do sales and the financial side, right? Because it became, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to
actually
pay taxes here.
Right,
it's like, I'm making money. So we have to figure out shipping.
The back end of it. Somebody's got to do the admin work. Somebody has to be worried about the finances.
Yeah, it's not just, now, if it was just me, I would still be on MySpace trying to sell these things one at a time, right? I mean, so she had marketing experience. She came in and that's what she did at the hotels. And she, was able to handle the back end side. I was able to just make, and she was able to set up everything else. And so that helped a lot. But yeah, in the garage, and then she hired somebody to help her. And so at about a year in, I had 4 people coming in my house. So every morning, I knew I had to be up at 8 o'clock and out of the shower.
Right. Because everyone's showing up.
3 girls are going to be in my living room at 8:45. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's, so I was.
Yeah, that's it.
And so that's, we literally turned our guest bedroom into storage. And our living room had desks, or we had 2 kind of living rooms. One was a complete office with desk in a circle and like print machines and the whole filing, like it was an office.
Okay, yeah, because you're making the things in the garage. You're doing fulfillment out of the living room and the admin, backside office, customer service.
Yeah, matter of fact, because we had another office that was just shipping. Yeah, because we had like a little shipping thing. Right. Because the garage was so small, we couldn't ship out. It was crazy.
It's awesome to think. Don't you wish you had like more videos from back then? I wish I had videos and pictures and stuff from like the early days of the same thing of like shipping boxes out of my living room.
I do have
at the time you don't really want to show publicly. You want to come off as like you're this bigger company. But now looking back, I wish I would have I've been doing vlogs now for like 2 years. I wish I was doing vlogs 6 and 7 years ago to like show more of the process, because so many people think that what I've built today happened overnight. And they don't realize that it's like a 15-year overnight success. Yeah. It's not like
and it's still, you still have to hustle every day.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, literally 1 car garage I built. So we're in Savannah, 120 degrees it feels like, right? Because of the humidity. And so I took, I went through iterations. Like first I took plastic and I made a corner of just a plastic little insulated corner with a little portable air conditioner in there. And then we built a foam wall that was like foam. And then we like literally built the whole little garage out with rooms for grinding and stuff like that. But yeah, from there, the first piece of equipment we bought was a laser engraver. So we were outsourcing everything. We were having it made, sent to us to refinish. So we were finishing in it and then packaging and shipping it. Bought what happened, Sig Sauer, the gun manufacturer, wanted custom Legion series. Remember they released the Legion gun? Yeah. And they wanted Legion KeyBars, and they wanted them nitride coated like their guns. And yes, I can do that. You know, and
of course I can do that. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So I took the order, and I'm like, well, at that time we were.
And they want how many of them?
Well, at that time we were doing custom stuff, but it was like we were using a pre-cut vinyl cutter. And we were cutting the sticker out with the little vinyl cutter. We were coloring the titanium. So we were anodizing the titanium, putting the sticker on, and then sandblasting away to leave just the logo in different colors. Yep. And I'm like, well, dang, I can't. That logo is kind of small and tight. And it's SIG. It's got to be perfect, right? And it's got.
You did all those by hand like that?
No. So
I was about to say.
So I went
holy
in.
Crap.
So I saw like, well, how did he do this, right? I had naive, right? How the hell did they do this? And so laser engravers, right? I'm like, oh, they use lasers. So,
and that sounds really awesome.
It does. Now at this time I'm in my garage and I just quit my job and I got 5 people coming to work and I find this laser and I'm like, oh, this thing's $30,000. You know, it's 30 grand. Like, well, this job will almost pay for it, right? I'm like, well, do I? Screw it. I just bought.
Like I'll break even on the job.
I'll break even on the job, but I'll have a laser. And so I bought the laser and I didn't know nothing about we didn't know. And they were telling me.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody knows anything about most of what's happening ever. And like, you just figure it out along the way. Everyone thinks they have to be like an expert at this thing. And that helps, I think, you know, where especially if you have experience doing it, but like making things wasn't new to you.
No.
But some of the processes were.
I knew that YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, you can learn a lot.
We're getting to YouTube. We're getting to YouTube. Okay, this was even before YouTube was super popular, right? So,
so you get the laser.
I get the laser. I do the SIG job. That pays for the laser. We move on to, okay, now I can't keep paying these people this crazy amount of money to machine these parts for me because we were using local shops, and it got to a point to where the bills we were paying every month to have this stuff made, we were making great money, but it was like, man, that will buy a machine every month when I'm paying these guys, you know?
Right.
And so I love making stuff. So what I do, I'll go on YouTube and I'm like CNC machining and see all these videos. And I'm like, I can do that, you know? And there were some guys in their garages making knives, and they were buying these CNC machines. It was two guys in particular, John Grimsmo Knives. If you're you want to learn anything about CNC machining and what you can really do, he basically bought a little, you know, like your Grizzly lathe out there, converted it to CNC, and made knives out of his garage next to his bed. And it was like, wow, you know, this dude's doing this out of his garage, and it, you know, it can be done, especially if you can buy a $150,000 machine, right? So we went and bought a Haas VF4 CNC machine, bought a building to put it in, and that was our first machine. And at that point, I think we had about 10 employees, and so we had to get out of our house. I mean, it was
this ain't gonna work anymore.
Well, I think we hired a couple of them after we got the building, but so we bought the Haas. And YouTube, man, I went on YouTube and I learned how to run that machine. And I had a really good friend up in New York, EOS Knives. John, he's awesome. He taught me a lot, man. And I called him the other day and teach me something new.
He is
every time you
so
talk to
knowledgeable.
him.
He's awesome.
So he helped me out a lot. And actually, he was making them at the time. I had found him on YouTube, and the local shop couldn't keep up. And actually, they were making Daniel Defense handguards, so they couldn't make my stuff. And so found him, and long story short, bought this machine. I learned how to use it by watching YouTube videos pretty much. And then, man, we moved on to bigger, better lasers. Same thing kind of happened with our packaging. How can we hang this thing on a shelf? And we didn't want to, you know, so we bought
retail orders.
Yeah, so we bought a blister card machine. So we brought that in house. A vinyl printer. We basically
the entire, aside from the screws.
Aside from screws, we make everything. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, that. For me, it was, I really wanted to have control. Man, we were sending stuff out.
Creative control, and you want to be able to make a change like right now. Okay,
so people always ask, well, what are you really good at? You know, or somebody asked me that the other day. What are you really good? Like, what would you say your specialty is? And I'm like, well, yeah, we can make a KeyBar, right? That's a no-brainer. But we are really good at coming up with an idea and making it and having it in somebody's hand, like
a reality.
Yeah, like within like 24, 48. I mean, realistically, a week, we can have it on the website ready to sell.
Right.
Mass produced. And changes. So my product is a Swiss Army knife style key holder, multi-tool.
I've got one in my pocket. We'll show it on camera here.
Yeah, so I mean.
This is, let me show it to the camera here and you can kind of explain it. But you can flip everything, and he makes a bunch of little tools.
So that's the thing.
For it. So if you're just listening to this, it's like he said, it's like a Swiss Army knife for your keys, and you stick your keys in it. But then he's got all these little tools. He's got a razor knife. I've got on mine here. I've got a little flathead screwdriver. I've got a little pry bar. He's got an actual knife blade.
I got knives, and I got so this carabiner right here. A customer sent me a direct message the other day, and they said, I do not like your carabiner. It shreds my pocket loops. And it wasn't designed for a pocket loop. It was designed for a key ring, right? And if I was to send this out, if I was to draw it and send it out, I wouldn't have had that product made 6 months.
It takes a while.
It takes a while, right? And that's local. That's in the States. I mean, but not just that. It's going to have to get changed like 6 times.
Revision after revision.
Yeah, because when these things are actually cut, they're actually cut with the bar spread out, so you have the right tension. And you're never going to know this unless you have the machine. You can cut one and say, nope. Change it.
More.
Nope. And so all of our little tools, like we've introduced probably 10 times the amount of tools that we would have if we didn't have that machine. So actually I was online last night looking at a new machine to do something completely different, another type of process that maybe can supplement what we're doing, make it more efficient. Technology, man, 3D printing.
So rad.
I mean, I love that stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. I could outsource this, and
There's a give and take for it, right?
Yeah.
So like the cool thing about being able to do it in-house is you are so flexible. You can take an idea and, like you said, in a week it's on the website and stuff. The problem is scaling that is so hard.
Yes.
And the infrastructure you need to have in place, and the amount of overhead and the machines and the space and the people to operate the machines and all the different things that go along with it is the con to it.
It is. So yes, you can go buy all these machines. Yeah. So
it's crazy. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse.
It is. I'm very fortunate that I get to do what I want to do. I don't have to job shop out stuff right now. I mean, I can pretty much go in and make a new product or just change mine or just make whatever I want today. And nobody's, I don't have no guidelines of you got to make 10,000 of these tomorrow. And it's not a job shop atmosphere. It's kind of, for my guys, it might be because they kind of make the same
but that's
thing.
the beauty of you run your own business.
But for me, we get to design and create and really focus on making our product better and make those changes immediately. I don't know. It's hard. We have full control. And we just released a new KeyBar Junior, so a small version.
Super cool.
I literally came up with that idea. I was talking to my employee. We kind of bounced it off each other. And in 3 days, we had that thing ready for Cyber Monday. I filled the shelves up and was ready to ship them Cyber Monday. And we would have never been able to do that.
No way.
If but
it takes us months.
So, what's also, we can only make what we know we're going to sell. We can make it on demand. We're very lean in that regard, but there is a lot of overhead. And so when you think, okay, I'm just going to make something myself, well, you have to buy the machines, you have to buy the building or rent or lease, right? And then you got to pay an employee to run every one of those machines, pack and ship. You have to buy the cards, you have to buy everything and keep it in stock so you're not running out. Back-end software. It goes on and on.
It's really funny the misconception people have with this online business stuff is that it's like, oh, you can start a Shopify website for $30 a month and that's all you need.
Yeah.
You can be technically,
if you're drop shipping.
But that's dumb.
And that's, you're
selling the same thing everyone else is selling. What's your value proposition?
So, and that's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to sell it for less money and could be, okay, now you're not making any money because there's no margins on it to begin with. And then in order to sell it, you've dropped the price a little bit, but maybe you're incentivizing it with free shipping to get someone to actually buy it from you instead of from the other place or from Amazon or from wherever else. So now you're eating the shipping cost. You've lowered your margins by offering it for a lower price. Game. It's a number, all of a sudden, this thing you sold for $45, you just made $6 on, and then you still got to pay for your website and pay for this and then you got to pay yourself. People don't realize that what it costs to be in business, especially at scale. Yeah.
So, out of the garage, overhead was low, obviously, because you're not paying for the building and all that, right? But now overhead is crazy. Everything, it just keeps going. And so you constantly have to figure out how to sell your product, reach new people, create new products. The challenge in manufacturing your stuff is, and in outsourcing, is you focus mainly on manufacturing because what are you doing? You're a manufacturer, you're making a product and you got to make sure that product's perfect and right. And that's where your focus has to be. And then really, and marketing secondary to that. When in reality, marketing needs to be first to sell the product that you're making. So there's the struggle, right? Where
you've got to do both. So you have to be. So we treat our business like a media company, as you see in our space here. That we just look like a. You've
said it many times. You're a media company that sells a product, right?
Not to say that we put. No, but it's we love the product we sell. We are very passionate about it. It's not like we're trying to take advantage of
No,
an
but when I walk
opportunity.
in here, it's quiet. There's not 6 people out there shipping.
Right.
There's not, it's not crazy. Y'all are in here focused on
Selling.
creating new product,
Right.
designing, marketing, prototyping over there's guys on sewing machines. I mean, so you're working, you're building a brand and you're
Right.
marketing and you're doing,
Well, we do.
you're doing the same stuff. We just have another,
Well, it's another department. Like we outsource our manufacturing so that we can focus on the selling side of
Exactly.
it. You're kind of the opposite of that.
yeah.
Um,
And we
So
do it. We do it. I think I do it because I love it. I mean,
that's your passion, dude.
That's what I do.
like to create stuff too, but I don't like to create the same thing over and over. and over,
yeah.
Which is why you're always making new things.
That's-
'Cause
yeah,
you kind of get
100
bored. You're
miles
like, I've made tens and hundreds of thousands of these. Like,
and at the end of the day,
press a button and it's just kind of boring at that point.
we were very fortunate to do extremely well in the beginning, and so that allowed us to buy some of the best machines available, and so we've set ourselves up really well in manufacturing to
You have
where
a good foundation.
right. We have a great foundation. We can, and so now it doesn't take a lot. If we want to create something, a new product or whatever, all it costs is material and labor.
That's the other side of it.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're not really investing in new stuff. And that's I think why I continue to do it is because for example, if I wanted to go get a new tool made, that mold, just the mold for that tool is going to be 20, 30 grand, and I got to buy 10,000 of them. Well, what if I change that damn thing tomorrow? Because I will.
That's how
you know
you
what I mean?
are.
I'm going to improve it tomorrow, and then I'm going to be stuck with 10,000 of these things. And so that's kind of, and so I really enjoy manufacturing. And yes, we could scale bigger, and we could outsource everything and just.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, there's ways to scale and grow and continue to have fun and do what you love, and that's what I'm trying to. I mean, it's all a balance, and that leads into kids. I mean,
Well, I want to go back even more. So
Because-
you've clearly know how to make a product.
Yeah.
You make a fantastic product. I love it. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of other people love your product. You focus on the manufacturing. You know how to do that, but selling it, you've obviously had a lot of success selling the product. So what were your channels and avenues, and how did you market that? And how have you been able to actually sell it?
yeah, no. So this kind of goes back to Knife Thursday. Instagram had just started. I remember going to Blade Show, and I walked up to the maker and I said, "What's your Facebook?" And he said, "Facebook, Instagram." And I said, "What the hell is Instagram?" And it's like TikTok. Right? Like
Currently,
do you know what TikTok is? Right? Like
Let's talk about that after this.
Anyway,
but go ahead. Instagram.
So Instagram had just started, and I'm like,
This is what, 2012?
it was right at the beginning of 12, and I'm like, Instagram, okay. So I went on there, and I was TMT Racing at the time, or Southern Guns, one of the two.
Okay.
Like I was all over, like I did guns and racing and all over. So, but I've always been in front of a camera, like since 2007. I've always had YouTube videos.
Right.
So I've even when I was doing nothing, I was filming myself with dolphins in the Savannah River making videos. And so I enjoy it. I enjoy editing. I think that's why I like manufacturing so much. I enjoy being able to manipulating the code.
Start with nothing, end with something.
Right.
You've got something to show. Yeah.
Fading that in, whether it's a clip or a tool path comes sliding in, right? Like it's just kind of that satisfaction. Anyway, so Instagram is where it started. Before algorithms and everything, man, it was really easy to get followers, just like TikTok, because that's why I mentioned that. I picked up a ton of followers, and what I
You had
did,
big success on Instagram early on.
what I did was I gave away product, man. And people I liked. Like if I
it was like influencer marketing back then.
It was influencer marketing.
But it wasn't called influencer.
100% what it was. I went on there and it was, gosh, I don't even remember. Now they're huge channels, but back then you're talking 10,000 followers on some of these channels, and I'd send them a message and I'd send them product and say, dude, I just like what you're doing. I made this for you. Enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And most of them did videos and
tag you and
tag me and so we gained followers really fast and 100% focused on Instagram for like 6 years, man.
So
like,
you built the whole thing on Instagram.
100% Instagram.
Same thing I did.
And then
everyone's looking at it.
And then
like
I ran ads on Facebook. So I on the back end, I was running ads on Facebook to get new people to see the product. And
because you had to pay to play on it on Facebook.
Yeah, but it was dirt cheap. I mean, right? Like you could create, and it was so much easier. You could create a lookalike account, and that lookalike account would just dominate. I mean, it would like.
Now it's so flooded, and there's so
yeah, and it's not even the same. Like it's
similar concepts, doesn't even, but it's harder to accomplish the same goal.
Well, it's the pay to play thing. Right. It's just they realize their value.
Instagram was so organic; it was free.
Yes,
and you could. Do
it was organic.
Anything you wanted,
and it wasn't. It wasn't, and it was. And a lot of it was a lot of my success. Okay, so in Instagram, and this isn't. I can't really tell people this advice anymore and then follow it and succeed. But back then I used to give everybody this advice. I would say, man, you have to post every 2 hours. You have to post something funny, something cool, and then your product. Because nobody wants to see that damn key holder all day.
Right.
Yep. And it was, back then it was no matter what, the most recent post. It
was a chronological order.
Yeah, It was up there. So that's why I was like, every 2 hours, man, because that feed's getting pushed out. So every 2 hours, just throw a post up there. And it worked, and the funny videos, and every time and we still have this back and forth. Every time I post a funny video, I just keep thinking of Beav in my head, telling me like 8 years ago, that video has to have some kind of relevance to what you're doing, or it's just for clicks.
Right.
and it's so funny because I'll post. I'm all over the place, so I'll post stuff just because I think it's cool, and so a lot of that stuff is just I was like. I'm posting. I don't care.
There's nothing wrong with that. And the reason I bring up the relevance thing.
No, but let me get back. Yeah. The reason I say that is, if I post, recently, we've been posting like mechanical locks.
I saw that.
Those videos, if you go to like those things have so much traction going back to the pro. It's because it has something to do with locks. You know what I mean?
Locks.
Yeah. It's not just.
Well, it's really cool. It's just engineering. And I think that people that appreciate your product are like, wow, design, engineering, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, cool. Like locks are fascinating. And there's you've posted some locks that are like they're super simple or like super intricate. Yeah. And it's just like interesting.
And it's a lock. It does the same thing.
It's really cool. Yeah. So, but the relevance thing is because, part of our huge sales funnel is to retarget people who've engaged with the content.
Yes.
So if you've got people engaging with content that has nothing to do with what you sell or your brand or what you stand for or any of that kind of stuff, then you're retargeting people that are not likely to purchase your product.
See, you're thinking when I post that video, I have no thought about retargeting, whereas you're thinking about retargeting.
I'm thinking about retargeting, so I try to keep everything very, very relevant, and I keep things fun, and funny memes, but it's always parent related. Like I saw the funniest meme I reposted. It was like, there's no kid, or no one has a longer to-do list than a kid that has to go to sleep, or than a kid that at bedtime or something like that. And it's like it's so funny because it's true, but only parents will understand that, and it's relevant to parenting and the brand and all this stuff. But it's funny. So that drives massive amounts of engagement, a huge amount of shares.
Because parents are the ones that are, that kind of mentality and thinking like that is what makes y'all success. And that's what y'all do so good, man.
Right.
And so.
But it's funny that we're building this whole thing on Instagram off of organic engagement and then retargeting that. But while everyone's taking, like when I go to family gatherings a couple of years ago, and it's like Thanksgiving, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Like, "Oh, I quit working on cars, and we're just selling diaper bags." And like, "Oh, that's cute, that's funny." And like, you can actually make a living doing that. Meanwhile, we're making millions of dollars, and like they think I'm like running some basement operation out of my parents' house because it's an internet business on Instagram.
So, do you think? Do you? Now,
meanwhile, I got this. But my cousin came here for the first time the other day, and he's a photographer, and he's done a lot of stuff for me. And he's done a lot of photo shoots for me of like other cars we've had in magazines and things like that. And I think he was like, holy shit, like they got a real business. Like awesome. This isn't like he's not doing this out of his garage.
So do you kind of feel sorry thinking about the guy that sits there behind the computer all day that just does something else for somebody else? Or
no, not if he loves it.
Okay, but most of them don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
You know what I mean?
There's a lot of people that are stuck in.
So
a
what
job
my point
that
was,
they
the
don't
guy
like.
the guy at the party that was, he just makes diaper bags, right? That guy's probably sorting papers at a desk somewhere, right? And it's like, okay, let's just say you were making diaper bags, making zero money, just paying your bills, but you were happy and you love what you were doing,
Right.
And so
I would still,
you would do it. My point kind of thing,
Yeah.
would you ever go back to that just for a paycheck, or would you do what you love? You know what I mean? I mean, I get
do what
there's
I love,
situations where you had to.
Well, the thing is, I'm so passionate about the things that I do that it will make money and it'll support my lifestyle no matter what. And whether that's millions and millions of dollars or 60 grand or 150 grand, like it doesn't matter. Like I'll do it and not make money.
That was kind of my
done
point.
that plenty of times. Like
you're gonna do what you
it.
love, and that's that's the mentality of the guy that's like, oh, he kind of makes diaper bags.
Right.
They're probably not happy, and they probably don't. A lot of people never been presented the opportunity to do whatever the hell they want.
Well,
and think about this.
I think everybody has that opportunity, but no one takes the initiative to do it because they want to play it safe or they're scared or they're
right. Everybody does. You can quit. You can do whatever you want right now, right? But when I say doesn't have the opportunity, a lot of people don't have the
well, they're not self-starters,
or
they're not willing to take the risk, or there's a lot of things that go into it.
You know what I'm saying? If more people would just take a risk and do what they love, they'd be more happy.
Mm-hmm. No one's willing to risk it, and that's why like everybody. Gary Vee says this, right? Everybody wants a 1% life, but you got to do 1% shit, right? Like Kyle Voss. Everyone wants to be a gangster, but no one wants to do gangster shit.
You're right.
Like you've got to actually put in the work and actually do the things to get what you want. You can't be like, I want to be my own boss. I want to have my own company. And then a month into it, be like, screw this. This is hard. I'm not doing it. Like I just get so passionate about things that once it's in my head, until I've reached, like I don't even have an end goal. This business just keeps growing. Things just keep getting way more out of control and like blow my mind on a daily basis. And I don't even know when enough is. I just know I want more. Right. And like, it's the process of doing it and doing more and hiring more people and putting out more content, selling more bags and growing a bigger company for something. What that is yet, I don't know. I mean, I do know that I want to make an impact for my family and leave a legacy that like great grandpa Beav did that. So now I'm able to do this or whatever the case is. But I just keep doing more. And I don't know why. It's just because, and I'm curious to hear Travis's take on that because I've always been like that, right? Like I go so hard into whatever that thing is that it's like
I think people like us have to, and I actually have to think about this a lot. Whether it's employees and you hear people like Gary and them say it, we cannot expect people to have our worth ethic. I mean, because it's what we love. They may just be doing it for a check, right? And so, if it's not their passion, it's hard to expect that from them.
What the best thing to do though is hire somebody that's passionate about their job. Like when I hired Ryan to come be the director of social media, he is super passionate about that, and he tried to convince me he was going to outwork me, and I was like, "No, you're not."
But that's the mentality.
But the mentality he has of like, I love this. I'm going to outperform you. I'm going to do better than you could do. Is like, that's the person I want for that job, but, and they'll do that. And like, so when I talk about the things I talk about and with running the business, he's like, dude, stop. You're making me sick. Like I can't hear numbers like that or whatever. Like it's not for him. Yeah. Being a business owner isn't for him. Like there's great people at the top, and that's what they're born and bred to do is to be at the top be a number one. And then there's number twos and number threes. And like,
that's so funny. But like you speak of that and that's exactly like me. You put numbers in front of me.
Forget about it.
Oh, I'm out of here,
I'm checking out.
I'm like, y'all have a good day.
Turned off my ears and my eyes, and I'm like thinking about something else. And Alex will be telling me about some numbers on a spreadsheet, and I see his mouth moving. I hear things, but I'm thinking about something else, And
it's to me, man, it's like you almost. I mean, even when it's good and bad, up and down, sometimes you almost just don't even want to look at it. You just want to create, and luckily I've been put in a position to where I have a great partner, and she does everything on the back end. She's a whiz with numbers. So when I start, I'll open a spreadsheet. You really want it here? And then I'm like, well, what? Here, take this back. Because,
never mind. Yeah.
because I mean, I know what's going on, but it's like she could make an Excel spreadsheet in 2 seconds that just breaks down the whole, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I could do that stuff, and I know it's important, I'm very familiar and versed in that, and I can do it. I hate doing it, but it's such an important part of that's why we have as much success as we have, because I got Alex, who's a numbers guru, and you have to have that. You have to have the creative side and the make a good product and market the product and sell the product, but you have to have the back end infrastructure of operating the business smoothly, or the whole thing falls
we just
apart.
went through a Georgia Tech audit. So we partnered up with Georgia Tech, and we're doing we did a inventory audit kind of thing to help figure out what is where our strengths and weaknesses are, and in our auditing, in our inventory, because when you buy a product from us, there's probably 20 or 30 different pieces that have to go in, and there's 1,000 of them on the shelf, and you just want all that to integrate with your
inventory, so you know how many you can actually make, so you
website.
can order material to make the more KeyBars, because you don't realize you're going to run out of screws.
Back to running a business, it's inventory tracking. I mean, you run out of O-rings, stupid O-ring will shut your building down. You know what I mean?
You can't ship it without it. So
you can't. Yeah. So
inventory control.
Inventory control is huge, and I mean, we've been doing it for 8 years, and it's been our number one struggle, is because we move because all our stuff's 100,000 washers coming in, and
it's hard to track that.
It's hard to track that. So, so anyway, Georgia Tech came in, did an audit, and they laid out a really great plan of how to improve and this and that. And I mean, it took a Georgia Tech graduate to help get our system out. So it's man, there's so much involved, and
there's things that they bring up that you're like, oh man, think about that. Holy crap!
So we're actually
mind blown.
We're prepping to go through their Georgia Tech 9001 audit, which is an audit for quality control. Is what you would get when you start making aerospace parts and anything really high level manufacturing, right? So. But it's the same thing. You're going through to get this audit, and then they're gonna come in and tell us what systems we can improve and where, But man, I don't even know where it started. But having that resource, and there's resources out there. So I mean, there are resources out there, and they're amazing. And I mean, these guys are really helping us out, and for pretty much nothing,
Right.
And it's a service they provide, and it's just.
That's cool.
But that's I don't even know what started that, but that leads us into kind of where, we're going after we're looking at different ways of the future, man.
Things have changed. When we started, we were talking about building the business on Instagram, all that kind of stuff.
All over the place.
We tracked all over the place.
But Instagram, you had asked me, I don't know where we started, but Instagram and Facebook marketing. And then today is still 90% Facebook marketing. And Instagram.
So you've been
TikTok.
Yeah, let's talk about TikTok, because you've been using TikTok. You were here a few weeks ago, man, you got to get on TikTok. And I've been playing around with it with little to no success. To me, it's obnoxious.
It is.
It's super obnoxious content for very young demographic.
It is.
And the people we're selling to are far from being on
Nobody
TikTok.
is going to buy your product from TikTok. So currently, I mean.
What have you seen on TikTok, and what kind of content are you putting there?
So I'm posting anything that I think a 12-year-old might stop and look at. So if it's fire coming out the machine, or jet skis in a pond, or whatever the hell, just getting content out there. I'm posting up KeyBar stuff because when Instagram started, it was the same way, right? So getting the content out there is really all I'm doing. I'm just putting it out there. So if one day somebody does hashtag EDC gear, they're going to get a picture of a KeyBar. And so currently here's my strategy currently on TikTok is, if I think a video would hit that demographic that I've posted, I will go over and post it on TikTok.
So you're curating the content.
Now I say that, but I'm actually using TikTok for their platform more than for. So okay,
TikTok is very interesting in the way that its user interface and how you can kind of edit videos there.
It's kind of wide open with the copyrights right now. So
With the music and stuff?
Yeah, with the music copyright. So
Yeah.
you can post pretty much any song in the world into your video without having to look for it or download it or anything. So, fire shooting out the laser. I got the fire, whatever it is. You know what I mean? You can put the song behind it. And so we are using TikTok to create the videos to upload to Instagram. So I'm going on TikTok.
Instagram's not flagging that for copyright?
I haven't had one. I have not had a video removed from Instagram that has been reposted from TikTok because they're 15 seconds.
See.
Yeah, so
By see, I mean right.
Notice,
Yes.
if you notice, TikTok will only drop most of the songs that are copyright songs are about 15 seconds.
Right. Yeah, you can get away, even on YouTube, you can get away with like 15 to 30 seconds or something of a song without it getting flagged.
YouTube. So I love making videos, and but it's the time it takes to post process, right? Like I can make videos all day and I got great ideas, but then actually getting me to sit down and edit it. I mean, when I do it, it's great, but
it's hard. And some people get excited about it in the beginning, and it's really hard to keep going and to continue pushing on for years and doing constant content.
I hadn't been putting content on YouTube, and I post probably 10, 15 stories on my Instagram every day. Right. So I'm always on Instagram telling you what's going on, and all that stuff just disappears. So what I've been doing for the past couple of days, I've been just saving my Instagram story at the end of the day and posting it on YouTube. Yes, the frame's not right, but the content's there, and it kind of shows you what we have going on. It's not produced or anything, and it's very raw, and it's our Instagram story, but it's there, and it's a lot of stuff people would never see if they didn't if it wasn't there. So I'm using kind of my stories to send over to YouTube. We're getting back into video production, but that's me actually
having to do it,
getting back into being creative with videos.
It's hard, man. When you're forced to be creative, people don't realize how much energy it takes to be creative, and trying to force it is hard. Like you have to get into
forcing it it's so hard, man. Like when we make something that we forced, it's horrible. But when you just, when it's in a story and it's, we walk up to somebody, it's just the funniest thing, and it's relatable. I don't know. If it's not, that's another problem, man, I have is how far do you produce it, right? Like, what audience?
Video?
Yeah, like, okay, I posted that stupid video the other day of, the KeyBar Junior or whatever. And it was so, and I was like, well, do I spend 10 hours and get out and make it a high quality video for something that's going to get 1,000 views? You know what I mean? And knowing that it's not.
There's an interesting balance there, right? Because if it looks like shit, people aren't going to watch it.
Yeah, if I'm going to pay for this ad on YouTube, and I'm going to, we're going to use nice cameras.
Right.
And so we do a lot of just raw stuff, man. And that's, at the end of the day, most people are just on their phone scrolling anyway. And unless you're really.
You don't have to overthink it.
No.
That's the thing
just
a lot of
make.
people do.
And that goes back to making stuff. Just make it.
Yeah, when you get the idea, you get the idea, execute on it, make it. See if you're into that, if you want something to come from it, you have to actually follow through.
How many people have you talked to that have said, "Oh man, I got this idea and I got this product and I'm just waiting on patents to come. We're going to get patents first, and we're going to get all that."
Every single day.
That product never comes out because by the time that patents come in, somebody's already made it cheaper. It's at Walmart, and you know what I mean. And so just make it, and if people support it, you're going to be the original. And if they, you're going to get knocked. If it's successful, you're going to get knocked off no matter what. That's just. They're knocking off Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that article recently.
No, who did that?
There was a guy doing freaking body shop Lamborghinis on Volkswagens, and
that's funny.
And they shut them down in Sweden or something, dude.
It's hilarious.
It was awesome. There was like 40 of them, and they're selling for like $100,000. They're nice.
Dang.
But they're the V12 Volkswagen engines in them, and.
That's funny.
I think. Don't quote me.
Yeah.
But anyway, they it was pretty awesome.
Right on.
But yeah, man. Then kids, dude.
Yeah.
This is technical baby gear. I got a 2.5-year-old, and man, perfect 2.5. Okay, so we went to an oyster roast the other day, and Buddy said, "What's your name?" to my boy, and he goes, And he said, "What's your name?" He just said, And he said, "All right. What's your name again?" He said, He said, "All right, for the rest of your life, I'm going to call you
That's so funny, dude. Kids are hilarious.
Right now, dude, he's in the stage. Like,
yeah.
Like, you want this cupcake?
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, well, he's coming up on 3, dude. 3 is bad.
Well,
like you thought 2s might have been rough, but 3 is
currently it's the pitching a tantrum. You know, just really over excitement over stuff. That's where he's at. He's at the stage of, if it's not what he wants, he's gonna freak out.
Yep. It's hard to deal with.
But I'm totally cool with it. Like, he can sit there, you know, freak out. And I'm fine. I'm not gonna be like, ah. Whereas my wife, she has to fix it. You know what I mean? And so I'll just cut. He'll start freaking out. I'll step back, you know, and she'll come running in. So it's kind of a balance, you know.
It's hard.
And then sometimes I'm like, damn, should I pick them up? You know, and then
it's so hard because as soon as you like kind of cater to them, it trains them to think that they can get away with what they want. But then there's times where you're like, I just need to end this problem.
Oh man!
But dude, so you cater to them because you're in the middle of a store and you're like, I was about to choke my kids out in Jim and Nick's last night because they're kicking the booth chair that they were sitting in, and there's like this old couple
kicking it behind them,
and I'm like, stop, and like
they kept doing
it and all this stuff, and I was like, all right, I've got to put an end to this right now. And like, so there's times and a place to like, you have to cater to whatever the situation is. And even if you don't want to, and maybe that's a bad example, but like, there's just a time like they can't do this here. Like they're not going to have a temper tantrum in the middle of church. So I have to like cater to this and take them out and deal with it and give them whatever they wanted or, you know, whatever. But it's tough, man.
What's hard, man, is seeing that kid run around and smiling and knowing he's going to grow up, man. So fast. Like we mark him on the wall, you know, and
it's like, crazy.
Dang, he's an inch
real
tall.
Fast.
Like, dude, this is gonna suck when I can't like hold him little guy anymore, you know.
Yeah, man. Even my youngest she's about to be 6. That's crazy.
I mean, it ain't a little
she's
baby
still
no
like
more, man.
She's the little baby. Like Kendall will always be a little baby, but I just realized the other day, like her birthday's in January, which is like basically tomorrow. Which is, she's like, damn, like I feel like she just turned 5. She's about to turn 6, which means I'm like, holy crap. And then my 8-year-old, who's like almost 8.5 now, is like 15.
Oh yeah.
And the other day, Brandy goes and pulls a Christmas list out of the mailbox that she wrote to Santa and like put it in the mailbox for Santa. So she goes and she reads it. She wants a bra for Christmas.
Oh jeez.
I'm like,
makeup kid and bra.
Oh God, I can't.
He's in trouble.
Like, I can't. But like because she's at gymnastics, there's older girls there, and like they all talk and and I'm like,
God, dude, at 8,
dude, at 8.
Whoa. I'm
like, oh my God, I don't even know. I don't know how to feel about this.
And
Brandy's like, that's totally normal. I'm
no.
Like,
so thank goodness I'm having 2 boys.
Dude, so you got another one.
I got another one on the way.
Doing like June-ish.
May 17th, I think. But yeah, so another boy on the way. That's going to be awesome, and
it's going to be good. They're going to have a close enough age.
They'll be exactly 3 years apart. My boy is out, man. Like he just wants to be on a dirt bike or bicycle and
out in the yard, like playing.
100 miles an hour. So hopefully, he's going to have his little brother out there doing the same thing. And,
right.
But yeah, I mean, I grew up racing dirt bikes and 4-wheelers, and I cannot sit still. If you ain't noticed, if I'm not making something, I got to, be building or driving or packing dirt or jumping and jet skis.
There's no hiding that.
Yeah. So like at 6 months old, he had a 90cc 4-wheeler and all his stuff. And my wife's like, he can't even walk. And you're trying to put him on a 4-wheeler. But when he was 1.5, he knew how to work the throttle and he rides his 4-wheeler now, cool. At 2, at 2.5 or whatever. But man, you feel like you're a kid. Kids are awesome. So if anybody's debating on having kids, don't wait. I mean, we waited because of business and everything, but man, I wish I would have done it earlier. At the end of the day,
and a lot of people wait and they're like waiting for the right time and all that stuff.
That's
like,
great.
There's no,
but guess what?
But there is no right time.
You think, it's going to be a financial, burden, but man, for the first year, that baby just used a couple diapers, barely any, right? Diapers. And it's really not that crazy. I mean,
it's not bad.
And it's not bad at all. And
you just kind of ease into it.
The
like
love,
your lifestyle
man,
changes a little bit. And like, and then like 6 months into it, you're like, can't even remember what it was like to not have a kid. And it's just the new
when
norm.
they start talking, dude,
that gets
when
crazy.
they start talking, I mean, now, you know, you got your little buddy, or I mean, it's just awesome, man. So I'm really blessed, man, and got a little boy on the way. We're still trying to debate on a name. I think we're going with Max. I want to call him Maximilian or Maximus.
Mighty Maximus.
Yep, and she just wants to go with Max, but I'm like, no, it's got to be like
over the top.
Maximus,
it's gotta be super
or
awesome.
Maximilian.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Cool. All right, well, I got to wrap this up because I got another meeting here in a few minutes.
Hey, dude, I appreciate
Thanks
everything.
for coming on. You got any advice for anybody? One, maybe starting a business, or two, for your first-time parents?
Man, first-time parents, just don't worry too much. I mean, just it's
don't
not
stress over
you're not gonna break the baby. I mean, you know, you know, get you a good car seat and a good diaper bag, and I think you might know where to get one.
Tactical Baby Gear.
Yeah, I mean, and realistically, you know, just enjoy. Don't ever think it's a burden. I don't know, man. Like, and if it, I don't know.
No, it's good.
Don't
a lot
think
of
of
people
it.
hold off on having kids because I think it's gonna be a big burden.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Yeah, your life changes a little bit, but it's not like it's not bad. It's not the end of the world. It's just it's different.
Somebody said, I said the other day, I was like, oh, you're gonna go babysit your kid. He was going to watch his daughter. I was like, oh, you're babysitting tonight. He's like, no, dude, I'm not babysitting. I'm parenting. And I'm like,
I did a video on that one time.
I'm like, you're totally right, man.
Yeah.
It's not. You're parenting. Yep. And so I feel like I'm a kid again when I'm with my boy, man. And I enjoy my kids. I enjoy having him rely. I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It gives you a different perspective and outlook on life, and you start to see things the way they see it. And it takes a lot of
it's nuts.
Things aren't so serious anymore.
And that's the whole thing, dude. You made a post the other day about the end of the parade, right? So,
dude,
yeah. So I've had a lot of loss in the past couple of years, you know, family members and stuff, and you realize, man, dude, you may not be here tomorrow. Like you may screw this building, screw this. I mean, at the end of the day, dude, at the end of the day, that building could blow up. You know, and I don't have nothing, but I got my wife and my kids and my family, and
everything's good.
And dude, if you ain't happy with that needs to be your goal. That needs to be what you're focusing on, because it could be gone tomorrow. And man, go tell your family you love them and enjoy your life. I mean, dude, if it's you got to work an extra 3 shifts this week, so y'all could go have a good, nice weekend and whatever. Do it, man. Like, it ain't worth putting all that money in the bank to
work-life balance. It's tough.
Man. So,
it's tough. Cool. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Man, KeyBar. Just Google it. It's pretty.
KeyBar.
Google.
US.
KeyBar.us. But KeyBar on Instagram is really where you're gonna see my antics. KeyBar stories is where you're gonna find my personal stuff. I mean, I got KeyBar mic to do a lot of stuff on there.
Cool.
Yeah, man, just living the dream, brother.
Well, thanks for coming on, being the first guest in the new studio.
Dude, this place is awesome.
Appreciate you.
You guys have no idea. It's pretty badass, dude.
I do have an idea. I spent a lot of time.
I was talking about them, man.
Oh.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
Yep. Guys, thanks for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave ratings, reviews, all the things. I would appreciate it. See you in the next video. Peace.